Yeah, we got, well, in my personal case, I got a small mistake. No worries. It is easy to fix. You already know why. So yeah, for now, only focus on merging the whole project. So you got the whole project going on over here. And now what we can do is you can even select, for example, the hotlink over here, right click it. And now what we can do is hotlink module. You can even, for example, try out just directly, you don't need to find the project. You simply select the hotlink you want to edit, hotlink module, and edit module in separate ArchiCAD, which is an amazing option we got in ArchiCAD because it is going to do everything for us. It's going to open up the hotlink that is linked in this master project. Just give it a few seconds so it opens up the typical floor plan, and we can proceed to fix that small issue. So yeah, as you can notice, it has directly opened up the hotlink. We got a separate ArchiCAD for the typical floor plan, and we got another one for the master project. Before we continue, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to save the master project just in case. Let's proceed. Yeah, I haven't saved this yet, so I'm just going to proceed, naming it the same, test, and this is going to be master project. Okay, there we go. Now let's proceed with the fix in my case. So yeah, the fix is quite simple. You simply select the element you want to fix. And let's, for example, activate the mirror command over here. Simply adjust this back to the position. And yeah, there it is. Okay, let's visualize this in 3D. Yeah, it's looking amazing so far. And now we simply proceed to save this file, save the project. In the master project, if you want to update this automatically, you simply save this bot on the ground floor. So I'm going to open up the ground floor, file, save, and then it's going to give us the window saying that some hotlinks are outdated. Let's update them, continue. Give it a few seconds, press OK. And now you can see that it has been completely fixed. The same way we positioned and with the same way we linked the individual rooms for the whole typical floor plan. Well, you can manage your project as a whole. You have your master project, and any change you create on a typical floor plan is going to be also completely reflected on your master project. Okay, so yeah, pretty much this is the general workflow. Let's test out something amazing. Let's create a change which is going to go deeper until the very room we have in this typical floor plan. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to open up maybe, let's say we open up this one in a separate ArchiCAD, right click it, hotlink module, and let's use the edit module in a separate ArchiCAD. Okay, so for this case I got 3 separate instances open, one of which is going to control the room, another one which controls the typical floor plan, and master project. So the interesting thing here is that you can still create changes for your individual rooms. So let's say, for example, we delete maybe this railing over here, and we maybe take this lattice and create extra copies. So I'm going to create maybe a few copies over here. Okay, something like this. Looking good. Let's see, well, I got some duplicate elements clearly over here, but the lattice is going to be full over here. It's going to look something like this. Okay, so let's proceed to save the room and let's test it out how it's going to behave in the master project. I'm simply going to test this out. Okay, I'm going to skip the typical floor plan and straight to the master project. Okay, let's go into the level number 1 over here and let's save the project. So it's going to tell you that some links are expired. Let's see if we can update this directly without saving the typical floor plan. And yes, as you can notice, you can actually skip the saving process. You won't necessarily have to save the typical floor plan, because if you create a change on your individual rooms it's automatically going to synchronize for your master project. You can clearly notice right over here. Okay. Yeah, in this facade, it's not going to synchronize because we have a different setup over here. But in this case, for this part over here, it has fully synchronized. Okay. If you want to update, for example, only your typical floor plan, you simply proceed to save, update the hot link, and problem solved. But the interesting thing here is that you can always skip the intermediate hot link that is hosting the individual room, and you can synchronize this directly on your whole master project. Whichever change you want to specify on your typical floor plan, you can go ahead and make changes. Okay. So the question is, why didn't you link this from the very beginning? Well, the advantage here is that we can, for example, yes, these ones are still the same hot links, okay? But don't forget that in the typical floor plan, we always have some elements which are going to be separate. But don't forget that on the typical floor plan, you always have some elements that are going to be separated. So let's see if we can maybe turn off the modules layer over here. Yes. So the typical floor plan, the only thing we want to actually adjust is going to be pretty much the closing wall perimeter over here, the railing on the center, maybe for example the stairs, everything that is going to be completely modular. So doesn't matter how many floors you want to create. The amazing thing here is that if you want to change the facade, you know where to open this file. If you want to change some type of layout for a room, you know which file to open. If you only want to work on your master project, you can focus separately only on the things that will integrate everything. So hopefully with this, we can make it clear how you can start using hot links with this interesting example. As always, take as much time as you want, practice this as much as you want, and now we can comment a final interesting detail in order to put an end to this section.